All right, let's dive into this. Mindfulness in the body,
Yeah.
right? I'm super curious about this one. You guys sent us like a whole mix of stuff, book bits, some actual research, even a couple personal stories.
Yeah, it's a lot, but the cool thing is it all kind of points in the same direction, you know? It's not about turning into like a Zen master overnight. It's more about how being mindful can change how you experience your body.
Okay, I like that. Yeah. Not about sitting on a mountaintop or anything. So how do we even start unpacking all this?
Well, a big idea in all this stuff is that the body speaks, but like not just in the obvious ways.
Okay, so not just like waving your arms around or,
Exactly. It's deeper. It's those aches, those illnesses, even those gut feelings. Your body's constantly sending signals. It's like its own language.
whoa, so we got to learn to like decode it.
Exactly. And get this, scientists are just now figuring out how much the gut and brain are connected. Like your gut actually has its own nervous system. Sometimes they call it the second brain.
No way.
Yeah.
So hold on, when I get those butterflies when I'm nervous, that's not just in my head.
Nope, it's literally in your gut too. That gut-brain connection plays a role in like IBS, how you deal with stress, all sorts of things.
Okay, wow, this is making me think about my own body in a whole new way.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think most of us have a kind of love-hate relationship with our bodies, right?
Totally. One of the books you sent, it uses Alice in Wonderland as an example.
Oh, I love that book.
Right. Well, Alice's body keeps changing, right? It makes her question who she even is. Kind of like how we see our bodies sometimes, like separate from the me inside.
That's deep for Alice in Wonderland.
But it's true, though. We judge our bodies, compare them to others, try to fit into some impossible ideal. That's where you get, like, eating disorders, body dysmorphia.
And even like the obesity epidemic.
Exactly. We're not accepting our bodies for what they are.
Okay, heavy stuff. So where does mindfulness come in? Can it really change how we see our bodies?
There's actually research on that. One study used acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT. It's a mindfulness thing. People using ACT did better at losing weight and controlling binge eating.
Interesting. So instead of fighting your body, you're learning to work with it.
Exactly. And get this, the people who kept doing ACT, they kept the weight off even 6 months later. It's not just a quick fix, it's a shift in mindset.
So it's more than just willpower then, it's deeper. And I bet this could help with other things too, not just weight, right?
Yeah, got it. There's studies showing mindfulness can help with substance abuse too. One study, mindfulness-based relapse prevention, it helped recovering addicts cut their substance use by half compared to others.
Half. That's huge. So like, how does mindfulness actually do all this? Is it like rewiring your brain or something?
Well, it's not just one thing, it's complex, but a big part of it is how it affects stress. When we're stressed, our bodies pump out these hormones that can actually suppress our immune system.
Oh, wow. So stress is literally weakening our defenses.
Exactly. Think of your immune system like this super complex web that's constantly catching and fighting off invaders like viruses and bacteria. Stress is like poking holes in that web, making it weak.
So mindfulness is like patching those holes up, strengthening the web.
Perfect analogy. There's research showing that mindfulness practices like meditation can actually lead to faster healing, better resistance to the flu, even stronger immune responses in people with HIV and cancer. It's amazing.
This is blowing my mind. But hold on, we're not just talking about like being healthy here, are we?
Right.
There's that whole peak performance thing too, right?
You got it. And this is where it gets really interesting. One of the sources you sent was about Philippe Petit, the tightrope walker who, like, walked between the Twin Towers.
Wait, that guy, the one on the wire, what's that got to do with mindfulness?
Think about it. To do that, the focus, the balance, being completely present, it's insane. It's like reaching the state of flow where you're totally in the moment. Your actions are effortless, precise, like everything clicks.
I think I get that. Like when I'm writing, really in the zone and time just disappears.
Exactly. And studies show that mindfulness training can actually help people access that flow state more easily. One study found it improved college athletes' performance, focus, and even reduced negative thinking during games.
Whoa, so mindfulness isn't just about calming your mind. It's like unlocking a whole new level of potential, whatever you're into.
That's it. Which raises an interesting question. How can mindfulness both help us lose ourselves in that flow, Annie, to become more aware of, like, the eye that's observing it all? Seems kind of contradictory, right?
Yeah, that's trippy. Like when I'm really into something, I almost forget I have a body.
That's a great point. It brings us to this idea of conscious embodiment, which is about being comfortable in your body, tuning into its signals, using them to guide your actions. It's like becoming fluent in your body's language.
So it's not just being aware of your body, but really understanding how it moves, feels, reacts.
Exactly. And things like walking meditation, yoga, tai chi, those are all super helpful for cultivating conscious embodiment. It's not just exercise, it's mindfulness in motion.
I'm digging that. Turning everyday things into mindfulness practice. But can just thinking about your body actually change how you experience it?
Actually, yeah, there's research that even just mental training can impact your physical experience. One study found that focusing on your fingertips can actually improve your sense of touch. They call it tactile acuity.
I'm trying it now, just focusing on my fingertips, and it's like they're tingling. So if I did this regularly, my sense of touch would get stronger.
Exactly. Studies even suggest this kind of training could slow down age-related decline in touch sensitivity.
That's wild. But let's be real. There's one thing that affects everyone's relationship with their body: pain.
You're so right. And it's a big one. The stats are crazy. Over half of adults in the U.S. have chronic pain.
That many. Wow. So we can't ignore pain if we're talking about this whole mind-body connection, right? But where do we even start?
Well, gotta understand a little about the science of pain, how it works. Our bodies have this intricate system to detect pain, right? These special receptors send signals to the brain. It's designed to protect us.
Like a warning system. Hey, watch out.
Exactly. But when pain becomes chronic, weeks, months, even years, it's different. It's like that alarm gets stuck on, even when there's no danger.
So chronic pain isn't always just like a physical injury then.
Right. And here's a key thing from your sources. How we think and feel about pain can actually make it worse. Our thoughts, fears, all that, it all plays a role.
So it's not just the physical sensation, it's our mental and emotional reaction to it too.
Exactly. Distracting yourself can help for a bit, but it doesn't really solve the problem. Mindfulness is about changing how we relate to the pain itself.
This is reminding me of John Kabat-Zinn. He's like the mindfulness guy, right?
Yeah.
Didn't he do a lot with chronic pain?
Yeah, he created mindfulness-based stress reduction, MBSR. One of his studies showed chronic pain patients reported like a 50% reduction in pain after doing the program.
50%. Okay, so this isn't just some woo-woo thing. There's real science behind this.
Absolutely. And mindfulness has been shown to help with all sorts of pain: fibromyalgia, arthritis, migraines, even pain from HIV and cancer. It's like a whole new toolbox for dealing with it.
So it's not about making the pain vanish. It's about managing it so it doesn't control your life.
Exactly. There's this saying, pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. That's where mindfulness comes in. It helps us separate our reaction to the pain from the actual pain itself.
You know, I think we all do that. Like you stub your toe and yeah, it hurts, but then it's the anger, the ugh, why me?
Yep.
That makes it so much worse.
Perfect example. Mindfulness is about creating that space between the reaction and the sensation, observing the pain without getting lost in all the negativity.
Like becoming a scientist, studying your own pain.
I like that. And when you do that, something cool happens. You realize those reactions, they're not the truth of the experience. They're just thoughts, feelings passing through.
So instead of getting swept away, you can just watch them go by.
Exactly. Recognizing we have a choice in how we respond. We don't have to be ruled by those thoughts and emotions. We can meet them with kindness, acceptance. It's okay to feel pain. It's part of being human.
And mindfulness gives us the tools to do that.
It does. It's not about eliminating pain. It's about transforming how we relate to it. It's about finding peace, even when things are tough. It's like a journey of self-discovery. We learn about ourselves, our habits, how resilient we can be.
This is powerful stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're just scratching the surface.
You're right. We've got so much more to explore.
So are you ready to dive even deeper?
Absolutely. Let's keep going.
Okay, we're back. And I gotta say, all this talk about pain is kind of making me squirm a little. It's such a universal experience, right? But I'm also kind of fascinated by how mindfulness can help us deal with it in a whole new way.
Yeah, it's definitely a tricky one, right? But that's what's so cool about mindfulness. It doesn't shy away from the hard stuff. It's like, bring it on. Let's explore this.
That sounds a little counterintuitive though, right? I mean, when we're hurting, our instinct is to just avoid it, push it away, make it go away.
Yeah, totally. But here's the thing. When we resist pain, we actually make it worse. We're creating more tension, more suffering by fighting against something that's already unpleasant.
Okay, I can kind of see that.
Yeah.
But how do we actually, like, lean into pain? Is there a specific way to do that?
There are actually a bunch of practices for that. One that's really interesting, it uses an ice cube. It's a safe way to, like, explore pain in a mindful way.
Okay, I'm picturing holding an ice cube right now, and I'm already feeling it. So how does this work?
All right, so you get comfortable, maybe sit in your favorite meditation posture, take a few deep breaths to center yourself. Once you're settled, you take the ice cube and hold it in your hand.
And then what? Do we try to ignore how cold it is?
Nope, that's the cool part. Instead of focusing on how unpleasant it is, you actually pay attention to the sensations. Like, is the cold sharp or dull? Does the intensity change? Does it move around?
It's like you're becoming a scientist, carefully observing the data of your own experience.
Totally. And you also pay attention to any reactions you have to the cold. Are you tensing up, resisting it, judging it? Can you separate those reactions from the actual sensation of coldness?
I bet this exercise could be really eye-opening. It's like holding up a mirror to how we habitually react to pain.
For sure. Like, do we tense up? Do we start catastrophizing? It brings those patterns to light so we can start to work with them.
That self-awareness is so powerful, it gives us the chance to choose a different response. Instead of being controlled by our reactions, we can become the observer.
Exactly. And that's where the magic happens. We start to see that pain is inevitable, but suffering, that's optional. We can meet the pain with curiosity, even kindness, instead of fear and resistance.
It's like a total shift in perspective. Instead of dreading pain, we can approach it with openness. Which makes me wonder, how much of our experience of pain is shaped by our past experiences?
Oh, that's a great question. And it's something that comes up in your sources, too. Our past experiences, they definitely influence how we feel pain in the present moment. It's like if you've had a bad experience with something, you're more likely to be afraid of it happening again.
Right, it's like our bodies and minds are trying to protect us from getting hurt again. But sometimes that backfires and makes us overly sensitive or avoid things that might not actually be harmful.
Exactly. But mindfulness can help us break free from those patterns. Instead of letting the past dictate our present, we can choose to be present with whatever sensations are happening right now without all the baggage.
It's like taking back control. We're not prisoners of our past conditioning. We can choose a new way of being, a new way of experiencing pain.
That's powerful. And that leads us to another key part of mindfulness and pain, learning to recognize our habitual reactions.
We touched on this a bit earlier, but let's break it down. What are some of those reactions that tend to make pain worse?
Well, there's anger, right? We might feel resentful towards the pain, like this isn't fair or this shouldn't be happening. Then there's fear, which can lead to catastrophizing, imagining the worst possible outcome.
Oh man, I do that all the time. My mind goes to some pretty dark places when I'm in pain.
And then there's that discouragement, the sadness that can lead to feeling hopeless. And sometimes we even blame ourselves for the pain, which just adds a whole other layer of suffering.
It's like we're piling on the negativity,
Yeah.
making it so much heavier than it needs to be.
And the crazy thing is, a lot of times we don't even realize we're doing it. Those reactions, they become so automatic, we don't see them as separate from the pain itself.
That's where mindfulness comes in, right? It helps us slow down, observe those reactions, create some space between the thoughts and the actual physical sensations.
Exactly. And when we do that, something amazing happens. We start to realize those reactions, they're not the truth. They're just thoughts, just feelings passing through.
So instead of getting hooked by them, we can just watch them go by without judgment.
That's it. It's about recognizing we have a choice. We don't have to get caught up in those negative spirals. We can choose to respond with kindness and acceptance. Remember, it's okay to feel pain. It's part of being human.
And mindfulness gives us the tools to do that.
It does. It's not about making pain disappear. It's about transforming how we relate to it. It's about finding peace, even when things are tough. It's a journey of self-discovery. The more we explore our relationship with pain, the more we learn about ourselves, our habits, our resilience.
This is so powerful, and it reminds me of a story from one of the sources you sent. It was about a doctor who'd suffered from chronic headaches his whole life. He decided to try a mindfulness course, and right in the middle of a meditation, he got a terrible headache.
Oh, I remember that one. Poor guy. Did he just give up and stop meditating?
Nope. Instead of giving in to the pain, he decided to just observe it, like we were talking about, paying attention to the sensations, the throbbing, the pressure, without judging, without resisting.
Wow, that takes a lot of courage. I wonder what happened.
Well, here's the amazing part. As he kept observing the pain mindfully, it actually started to ease up. It didn't go away completely, but it lost its power over him. He kept practicing, and eventually he could let those headaches come and go without all the suffering.
That's incredible. It really shows you the power of mindfulness.
It does. And it reminds us that we have more control over our experience than we think. So, for anyone listening who's dealing with pain right now, what's the most important thing they should remember?
I'd say this: pain is a part of life. It's going to happen. We can't always control it, but we can choose how we relate to it. We can get lost in the story of our pain, or we can choose to just be present with the sensations without judgment, with kindness.
It's about finding that inner peace, even when things are rough. And that's what this whole deep dive is about, right? Discovering how mindfulness can change our relationship with our bodies. All right, we're back for the final stretch of this deep dive. It's been quite a journey, hasn't it? From the gut-brain connection all the way to dealing with pain.
It has. It's amazing how much there is to uncover about this whole mind-body thing.
I'm feeling pretty inspired, gotta say. But one thing that keeps coming up for me is mindfulness isn't about like becoming this perfect person who never hurts or gets stressed. It's more about how do we deal with that stuff when it happens.
You hit the nail on the head. It's not about denying our experiences. It's about being with them, even the tough ones, with like a curious and open mind.
Yeah. But I think a lot of people listening might be thinking, okay, this all sounds great, but how do I actually do it? Where do I even begin?
That's totally normal. It's easy to feel like you got to change everything overnight, but mindfulness isn't about that. It's about finding what works for you, even small things, and making them part of your life.
Okay, so baby steps.
Yeah.
What are some things people can try?
Well, we talked about walking meditation, the body scan, yoga, tai chi. There are so many options. It's about experimenting and finding what you enjoy.
So no strict rules then.
Exactly. Some folks like using those guided meditation apps. Others, they find ways to bring mindfulness into everyday stuff, like really paying attention when they're walking or savoring each bite of food.
It's like finding those little moments of awareness throughout the day and building on them. And I guess it's important to remember that mindfulness is, well, a practice, not like a finish line you cross.
Totally. Some days your mind will be all over the place, and that's fine. It's about being kind to yourself, not judging. Every time you bring your attention back to the present moment, you're getting stronger, like you're exercising that mindfulness muscle.
Love that analogy.
Yeah.
So we got to be patient, keep at it, and the benefits will start showing up in our lives.
Exactly. Less stress, better relationships, maybe even more creativity. Mindfulness has so much to offer.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave folks with a thought. What if, instead of seeing our bodies as problems to be fixed, we could see them with curiosity, gratitude, maybe even a little love?
That's beautiful. Mindfulness helps us do that. It's about appreciating our bodies for what they are, these incredible, capable vessels that let us experience life in all its fullness.
And on that note, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you've learned a thing or two and feel inspired to keep exploring this whole world of mindfulness and the body.
It's been my pleasure. Keep practicing, keep exploring, and keep discovering the amazing potential you have within.
And to everyone listening, thanks for diving deep with us. Keep those minds and bodies connected, and we'll see you next time for another fascinating exploration. Until then, be well.